Oh,
So they,
yeah. The guys, they put two stretchers across the back seat of that thing, and then one guy sit up in the front, and that's where I was at, you know. And the guys driving through there like crazy, you know. I said, stop this damn thing. I says, I can walk to that aid station, but I don't want to get wrapped around one of these trees with you guys. So I got out of the thing and walked.
now, you had malaria,
Had malaria,
you had dengue fever,
had dengue fever.
anything else?
No.
Battle fatigue?
Well, that's what they say, but I was just fatigued from being there. And they sent me down to Fourth General Hospital in Melbourne.
Not long enough, right?
Well, I was supposed to get 6 months, and I got about a month and a half, something like that. Sent me right back up, yeah. And we flew in these C-27, all the way up across the hump. We were on the other side of the island. There ain't many people over there, many Americans, and there weren't too many Australians either. When the Battle of the Coral Sea was, they told us if we lost the battle, now they were coming around Fort New Guinea, and they were going to land and invade Port Moresby in those areas. Well, there was nobody there. They could have walked in. But all us guys would have been trapped on the other side of the island.
Yeah.
They just told you, boy.
Well, you were at Millen Bay then, weren't you?
Yes. Oh, they told us right then and there that this break up in twos, don't go at 6 or 7, they'll track you easier.
They
No.
were expendable.
And they said, you know your job. And he says, you're going to have to live off the land. There's no way you can carry all this stuff. Oh, man.
Now, did you get any medals?
Oh,
He was supposed to get 4 bronze stars.
no. There was talk of some kind of thing. But,
He got 3.
Well,
Well,
on the thing where you got married, there's a picture of you. You got your ribbon there, and
There's-
you've got 3.
there's stars on there. I don't know what the hell they're for.
Okay. Susan.
And then he's got the unit citation. President,
Now, was that for the communications unit?
That
The
was
advanced communications
The
unit?
unit was sent up there again. They didn't have any idea what the hell was going on. And we knew less.
I was reading someplace that
You know what the guy that organized this thing was a school teacher, Captain Fletcher. He had a reserve commission. Never hardly saw the guy.
that you liked, didn't you?
Oh, he was a nice guy.
He
Was
wasn't.
a school teacher? From where?
He was what?
Was
From where? Where was he from?
I wouldn't have the slightest.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't even from the 148th Field Artillery. He just came up to Darwin, had to pick some people, and he went through the,
Roster?
not the roster, what they carried at that time. Before I left Australia, everything was documented, you know, morning report. But after that, we didn't have any money. And I'll tell you one funny story. He's older than that. But Darwin, Australia, was the head communications center of all the Middle East then. All the underwater ocean things came there. Well, this kid was from Monroe was his name. And he
Was he a private?
was a private, but he was one of these guys, even from high school, out of New York someplace, one of the bad areas, and girls were no object with these guys. They could have cared less what they did to them. you know.
Okay.
Now, the war now hit Darwin, Australia. Well, some of them pictures I had, the bomb craters right near this
No, yeah,
corner building. It was like a bank building, and this is where all the cables came into it. And anyway, they left 2 women there to run the switchboards because they were still in operation. 2 Australian women, not in the service, just civilians. I can't remember too much. Reasonable, good looking, I guess. And of course, the colonel, he ties into one of these gals.
Colonel who?
Colonel Jones, I think his name was. And of course, Monroe, the colonel was going over there for tea and everything, but Monroe was going over for a lot more than a tea.
Okay.
So, anyway, the colonel was going over, her complaint kept us like her name. And I don't know, guys kind of hung around me a little bit. I was kind of like a boss. No rank, I think I was a corporal or something. And he said, "No, the colonel's going over to that lady's house." And I said, "Oh." And he says, "Monroe is there." Because he always goes over there. He said, "Now you get over there and get him out of there." I said, "I ain't going by my..." Well, he said, "Take a couple of guys up, but you get him out of there." So we get over there, we're knocking on the back door, on the window and stuff like this. Who's pulling up to the front of his house in the Jeep is the colonel. And we're pulling Monroe out of the window with no clothes on. And his clothes, I mean, what a commotion that thing was. Running through that yard, he didn't have a stitch of clothes on, trying to get out of there. I'm sorry.
I wonder if he made it through the war.
No.
Oh, he did?
I know what happened.
He got killed?
What?
He got killed.
He did.
He got killed in one of the areas?
Who killed him, the colonel?
He got killed in Darwin?
He got killed, not in Darwin. He got killed later on somewhere out of Millen Bay because you got to remember that the Air Force and the people, they never had people to replace them. And if you wanted to go on one of these flights over Rabaul or these places, they'd take you. And you could photograph those, see what damage was there. And he got shot. He was in one of the planes that got shot down over Rabaul.
Oh, really? He didn't volunteer for that.
But he was a crazy guy.
Okay. What U.S. president have you admired the most and why?
Roosevelt,
Roosevelt? Why?
because he saved the country. He put in a bank holidays, put everybody that had money in the banks that it was secure, backed by the government. And it's one of the biggest things he put into the people at the time was the only thing to fear was fear itself. And he installed the CCC, which was a organization that you could go and live in these camps in the summertime. They'd pay you $1 a day, 30 days a month. You know.
That's to get people back to work, right?
Yeah. And this was money to spend. Then he started building parks and stuff like that. Babbler is one of the parks they built. Still in the opposition today.
They build two passes?
He put confidence in the American people. And, he installed Social Security. Not one Republican voted for Social Security. Not one of them. And you can bet your bottom dollar, if they get in, this is going to be one of the first things they start dwindling down and doing away with. Medicare, he did Medicare, not Medicaid yet, it happened later than him. But these are things that, not one time did any Republican say this is what we should do. They called it socialism. And I guess it is some fun.
Can you name all the places where you live? Besides Sarpy?
Sarpy, no. Yeah, well, Sarpy.
4112 Sarpy.
Then we lived down in Carthage, Missouri. Came back, lived on Greer.
What's the address on Greer?
What was your address on Greer?
2907.
2907.
How long did you live there?
Oh, a couple,
About a year or so.
about a year.
Then we moved down by Zion Church, so we,
Just to be by ourselves.
And
Just a
we-
3 room.
Where? What?
When we lived on North Market. I was running that big housing project there, wasn't it? On Cass, Jefferson and Cass.
In Pruitt-Igoe? What was the address on North Market?
that's about right. But see, the church was the 2100. That would have been,
I don't know.
I don't know if that was,
Why does 14th and North Market always come to mind for me? When you guys used to talk about that.
it wasn't 14. The Zion Church is,
Oh, the 14th
This
of March,
is
this is
20th.
a big shopping center, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shopping center down there.
oh, that used to be, we used to shop down there.
Okay.
And we were,
14th Street they called it, yeah, but that was,
14th Street Mall, yeah.
didn't we have money in that Cass, that bank down there on St. Louis and Natural Bridge or something like that?
Okay. Well, then after North Market, where'd you move?
hmm?
After North Market? Well, about what year was that on North Market? 1950 what?
So I got pregnant.
About 50?
I think we moved a little bit back to your mom's house while we were building that place out in Richmond Heights.
Richmond Heights.
Where'd you live on Richmond Heights?
On Dale Avenue. What 100, I don't know.
Okay. Where after Dale?
Northwood, wasn't it?
7 years.
Yeah, what was it in Northwood?
Quite a few years.
I got them at home if you want them all.
We moved to North Market.
What was it, Northwood?
We built,
What was it on Northwood, Northwood? What was the name, what was the name of the street?
we lived on the first one we lived on was the Main Street, where Liz Cunningham still lives. And
Yeah, that's,
Forest Hill.
Forest Hill Drive is
And
that's where I broke my arm.
then we built the house
that's right.
on the street behind us. What was that?
Yeah, but you never lived there.
Never lived there.
Then you moved, didn't we live in Jennings for a while?
Yes.
While
moved-
while this house was being built.
Yes. Well, we lived in Jennings because we sold that house that we were living on Forest Hill. And we moved to Jennings.
That was on McLaren.
That's right. Then from there, while this house was being built, when they finished this
From then I
house, was,
put my foot down and I said, there'll be no more moving. I'm not moving those kids.
That was my next question. Why'd you move out here?
well, because of the house we looked at and the price was, and we checked with Waller Bollinger of Roosevelt Federal, And I said, how can they build this house for this kind of money? You know, because we had built the one in Richmond Heights and the one on Willow Woods. Willow Woods is that street.
Where?
That one we did move into that he
The
built.
one that we built, we just sold it. And we came out here, and this house was built on Northland parking lot, right in front of the entrance, without the basement. And then they show it to you.
That was a big show, you know.
Really? I didn't know that.
And
So what you guys pay for this house?
22,900.
with the two-car garage,
How could they afford to build a house like that back then?
because he was the first guy that, well, I knew the carpenter boss here, and Walter Bollinger says, we checked it out ourselves too, Art. He says, it's the best buy in St. Louis County. You couldn't even come close to this.
Really?
But he
Now,
was,
what year did you move out here? 58?
it was in January.
January of,
0.
let's see, you were in kindergarten, and Art was in 4th or 5th grade.
So it'd be about, well, I've been 5 years old, 58, but I've been 5, that's about right, 5 or 6, 58, 59.
But it was 0 when we moved down here. It wasn't
Oh.
that day. And all the guys from Northwood chipped in, and we rented, when I got a truck from McAllister.
I don't know that.
But anyway, whatever we did, the guys moved all the furniture at one time, and she had chili made, and we sit on the floor in the den and ate the chili and kept working until we were done. We moved the whole work.
Now, do you ever wish you'd lived somewhere else?
I don't.
I did.
Where?
Well, there was a place out on Clayton Road, and this guy that built all these houses here had them out there for about $27,000.
Now there's,
And they're really big. They were really
Is
big.
that the one that are about $2-3 million a piece now?
They're back to, what,
Oh.
250,000 or something.
Now, what major health problems or illnesses do you remember?
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm talking to you. We'll ask you later.
I had cancer in my left shoulder.
How long ago?
Huh?
How long ago? That in the 70s?
17, like 17,
You
20
you
years ago.
you weren't going to, was he in college at that time? Or
They were
starting?
both in, they were both in school.
College. Oh, okay.
Now, you don't remember me driving you up Lindbergh, I'll bet you, telling you that certain things could happen. And I says, above all, I wanted you to finish school, and there should be enough there for you to finish school.
I don't remember that, but that's okay. You probably said it. Okay, what other things do you have?
Well, nothing real serious.
Weren't you real sick after you came back from the war?
He,
I was nervous, a little nervous.
Malaria?
Malaria, I had it. Malaria for 7 years.
he was very nervous for a while, because even Bella used to said something to my mother, you know, that he was really worried about him. He didn't think he was going to make it or something. I don't know
Really?
what.
What, just the stress of being in
Just
war?
distressed or something like that.
Do you have any bad habits? Now or in the, besides
Yeah.
worrying?
Yes, I know.
I think I drank a little too much.
That's right, you know.
I
What's
think
that?
You see, you could be having habits.
Bad habits?
Bad habits, Dad says this all the time, when you're driving. If I'm driving, he
What,
says,
you mean you used to drink a lot of beer?
beer and whiskey. I know the first that changed our whole life. I come back and I got started working right away. I stayed at home 1 week. And Mac Electric was asking me to come on back. They needed wiremen. And my first paycheck from them was $150 a week.
Yeah.
After working in the Army for a month for that kind of money, I guess. And we'd go out Saturday nights and hit all the spots because people were spending a lot of money. Then the war was coming to an end, and they were all working in them factories, war factories and stuff. And we used to go to when all the places closed down in St. Louis, and St. Louis was really a nice place for it. Little nightclubs they had and stuff like that. Bay's Bar and places like that. I don't really remember that.
Was on
Bay's
Gaslight
Bar.
Square and all that?
Mhm.
Gaslight Square and all that?
Yes, yes. Well, that was a little later. This is right after we came home. And it was the fourth weekend that we were out, and we were driving home, and she says, "How much did you spend this weekend?" I said, "Oh, I don't know, maybe $70. I don't know." And she said, turned around and looked at me, and she said, "I want to tell you something. I didn't get married for this reason, for things like this, and I didn't think you did either. It's just ludicrous to do this." Quit just like that. The Bush's
good.
Bar was really one fast place. You threw $20 on that bar, and it was gone, boy.
Were you ever in a serious accident? Like it was a car or a truck or?
No.
Not,
I thought you had a friend killed in the car accident.
Oh, but it wasn't. Yeah. that was-
You were in the car though, weren't you?
Yes. I was sitting next to him.
oh, that was when
High
you were,
Bureau.
that was, he was at the funeral parlor that night when he first, when he said that he saw me passing by,
Yeah.
and then after that he saw me at the basketball game or something, remember? And that's when
Well,
he,
how old were you then?
Oh, this is before the war.
Oh, so you're about 18, 17, 18?
Yeah, he joined the Navy. He was a submariner. And he was home on leave. And he was sitting next to me in the rumble seat. And it wasn't our fault. But a guy driving without lights ran into the side of us. There was hardly any damage to the car. But it pushed the car sideways.
that way, and the kid flew out.
And he flew out of the rumble seat.
What was his name, his guy's name?
Huh?
What was his name?
Tiberius.
Tibera,
He
Tybera.
went to school with us.
Edward Tibera.
Pat Sullivan, myself, and
Okay.
Scott. It was Scott's car.
What was his first name?
Edward.
How can you remember that?
I remember a lot of things.
And he got thrown out of the car and hit a post. You know, one of them. Light post? Yeah, like a light post.
Has anyone ever saved your life?
Oh, I guess someplace I want to.
Like? I mean, did you ever, like at work, did you ever have an accident that some guy may have saved your life, or?
At work?
Yeah.
No. We worked on a lot of.
Well, what about the guy at Boona that saved your life?
In the war?
Didn't some guy save your life when you guys were pinned down?
A guy in Millen Bay, yes. Do I know his name? No.
Was it Millen Bay or was it Boona?
I think it's Millen Bay. What did he do? Well,
Oh, he started.
when they started building this an airfield there by the American engineers, they pushed all the logs to our side. Now, why they did it, I don't know. You know, is it knocking the coconut trees down and underground and all that, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
And they pushed the logs to our side. Now the Australians would have had the biggest, they didn't have very many men there. They were mostly home guards men, you know,
Yeah.
which were considered home guards. And we were put in the center of the line, you know, to keep the people from crossing the thing. The Australians were on the flanks, and the Australians were going to make the main attack, you know. And all on this undergrowth, we were nothing out there, but snipers, what they claim, was sitting over there just shooting, you know. And he must have picked up something that glared, you know, like the rifle
Yeah.
barrel, and I didn't have to just move, and a shot went off, or well, you couldn't hear it, but you could hear the bullet going through the debris there. And everybody else was sitting quiet, but for some reason he was very close to me. And I lost my cool after about a few times, and I said, I'll get that lousy son of a gun. Might have used a different word. But I jumped up, started to jump up, and I was going to charge right across that open field. I wouldn't have taken 10 steps, and it would have been all over. He jumped on top of me and held me down.
Who was it?
Can't remember his name.
I ran into him one time, and he had a job at Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, he was a kid from St. Louis?
Yeah, down South St. Louis. He had a job. Over in Northland, I ran into him. I remember all the parking lot. Oh,
So
my
the
God.
guy
Did
tagged
you
him?
ever thank him?
Oh, I guess I did.
So you started to jump up and he tackled you down and held you down.
Just jumped on top of me.
Jumped on top.
Laid me, held me down. Because you couldn't have lasted. And then beside that, would have weakened that position, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever save anybody's life?
Huh?
Did you save anybody's life?
Not really, I guess. A little bit at a time, maybe.
Remember the day I forgot his helmet? They started
Oh,
laughing.
What?
And he and this guy jumped in
In
his
the
foxhole.
foxhole.
Yeah, we took, yeah, he told
And he
us.
said, can I borrow your hat?
had your hat?
I was ready to
We
kill
had
him.
these
said no.
old World War I helmets, the round ones, you know? And boy, that was close.
He told us that the last time at night, at our dinner.
Oh, that was close.
We're almost done, don't worry. We only got a few hundred more questions. I know my wife's getting tired.
I'm just relaxing. I
I know.
don't care. Take as long as you want. I'm just sitting here, just kind of chilling out.
If there's anything you could change about yourself, what would it be? If you could change something about yourself, what would it have been? Or be? Be been, bad, be something.
Well, I know a lot of the parties we went to, we drank too much. And your mom was against it all the time, and eventually I quit. And I think that was kind of ludicrous to drink that much.
It's a growing up process.
Now, your mom made you go to church, right?
Yeah. Sunday school, then church.
Brian, does your mother have to make you go to church?
How long did you go there?
Huh?
How long did you go to church there?
Okay.
How long did you go to,
Sometimes.
how long did you go to Mayor?
All the way up until I went in the service.
So 20 years, 24 years, right?
I guess.
20, 23 years?
Okay, you have to-
They used to have ice cream socials and all that stuff, to make money, for the church.
What happened to that church anyway? Did people just move out and
I
die?
guess.
You know, it's a black church now.
That's what I was just going to say, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's, yeah. So, did all the Hirschhausens go there?
No, Uncle
Aunt Minnie, Uncle Art's wife was Catholic,
Catholic.
but she didn't follow the church too well. I do remember that.
Well,
Art never went to church. I don't remember going to church.
but as if I didn't know
Uncle
that-
Art never went to church?
I don't think so.
He got married there, though.
Yes, I guess he did. Because
He got
that-
married there because I saw something with his name on it.
Well, he might even went there then, when he was younger.
But, well, didn't your family help farm that church when they first came over?
If it did, it had to be the grandfather and my
Well,
grandmother.
that's what I mean.
I don't know.
Because when I looked through their records, you guys' names were all over the place in there.
Isn't that something?
Hirschhausens, yeah.
Hmm.